Alright, so today we have two new guys. We just went to our local store and picked up a Harbinger, whatever the hell they're pronounced, V2315. It is a 15-inch powered PA speaker. And we picked up a competitor. They're both actually priced at the same point. I believe these were $350 each. This one is the Mackie Thump 15A, very well known. So we're kind of taking a middle ground. I mean, Mackie Thumps aren't really known to be the best, but you know, they do the job fairly well. So this is a decent comparison to more of an underdog. I mean, Harbinger, you hear about them and you're like, oh yeah, okay, you got those. Like, not really a big deal. But I mean, they seem to be stepping up their line quite a bit. I mean, this one says it's got variable DSP voicing, Bluetooth audio, smart stereo, whatever that means. I'm guessing you could pair them. And it's got built-in mixer, you know, a lot of the things that, you know, of course the Mackie Thump is going to have, but it all depends on how the quality compares to the Mackie Thump. So we're going to go ahead and unbox the Underdog, and then we'll unbox the Mackie. So already we have a little manual. This looks like a warranty thing, just kind of saying it, yep, and an owner's manual. It shows all the three different series, the 12, the 15, and then the subwoofer. Some styrofoam, put this off to the side. Here is the actual, I really take out good old power cord. Put that right there. Got a handle right on top. Take that out. It feels decently heavy. Definitely not overly heavy to the point where it wouldn't be very fun in the field to, you know, carry around and set up. Has a nice finish on. Ooh. Kind of stinks, honestly. Most brand new speakers always have some kind of manufacturing smell to them. Here we got a nice little banner sticker on the front, which, you know, we'll just probably leave on because it's one of those that they use adhesive all the way through, so if you try and peel that off, it's just going to come off in little tiny bits. Plus, if we don't like this speaker, we'll just return it, you know. So this has an interesting design to it. It has a monitor mount on the side, but the other side does not. So you can only put it as a monitor facing one particular direction or side, I guess. That's not really, it's not a bad thing, but it's not a great thing, because depending on how you put this down on the side, the tweeter could be closer to you, or the driver could be closer to you, which can actually change the sound, but I'm sure during a live venue you really couldn't hear the difference with everything going on around you. But yeah, so that's basically the Harbinger for unboxing. I mean, here's the back panel, you see everything. Not too many inputs, nothing too crazy. You have a bass and treble knob. Looks like you have your line in or mono, or link in, I'm sorry. So this is probably what they're talking about with the stereo pairing. And you got channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Pretty simple, 2 XLRs and a 1/4 inch input, as well as a 3.5 millimeter aux input. So yeah, that's that guy. We'll move on to the Mackie Thump. Right off the bat, we have again another manual here. This is the Mackie Thump 15A. This is not the 12A or the subwoofer, obviously. We have a thick piece of cardboard, so as opposed to the styrofoam, we have cardboard with soft foam glued to it. Put this down before I cut myself. Again with plastic. There is actually a top handle. Ooh, I don't feel very safe. It's not like a handle like this where you actually can wrap your whole hand around it. It's kind of like one of those half-in ones. So I feel the need to put my hand on the front, or else my hand will probably slip out of the hole. Power cord, just like the Harbinger. So again, like I expected, the Mackie Thump is a bit lighter. If I had to guess, maybe 4 or 5 pounds lighter, not too much lighter. Here you got the Mackie Thump sticker, just saying what all the goodness that comes with this. 1300 watts, Class D, of course. It's class leading bass and 4 speaker modes. So I'm assuming they have preset equalizer choices, which, yep, they do. So you have a music, you have a live, you have a mon, which I'm assuming is for mono, and a sub in case you wanted to use this for sub reinforcement, or that actually could be a low cut so that this thing doesn't get any bass. Oh, they actually have what each is doing, and I was right. So it's a low pass filter basically. It's cutting off anything below 80 hertz. Yeah. Anyways, so this one you don't actually have a any kind of bass or treble knob like you do on the Harbinger. It's just the preset modes basically. You can set the LED on this one as opposed to this. I don't believe you can. No, I believe not. So this you can actually set what the LED does, whether it's limiting or if it's on or off. You have two XLRs and an XLR out. This one has an XLR out as well, besides the main in. So this actually has a little bit more inputs and outputs as opposed to the Mackie. But we'll see how the sound quality really differs. Just like our old Eon video, we saw that the fake one had way more inputs, way more options, but sounded so much worse. So we're gonna see how these two sound. Alright, so this is a microphone vocal test with the Mackie Thump. I hope you enjoy. Alright, this is a vocal test with the Harbinger PA speaker. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so now we're going to take a look under the hood, so to speak, with these two PA speakers. First we'll look at the Mackie Thump, give you kind of like a baseline of typically people have seen what the Mackie Thumps have to offer. This one in particular has a double surround woofer, so you can see the two rolls of surround here. And then, unfortunately, so one big thing with low frequency drivers is how stiff the cone is. It will kind of give you an idea of how well it can reproduce lower end frequencies, like in the 20, 30, 40 hertz range. These cones aren't very stiff. You can actually see I'm not pressing very hard, and I can already, cause a deflection in the cone, which, for being top speakers, they're not really made to go super low frequency, but for what they do, I mean, they weren't half bad. I mean, they definitely sounded okay. Like, if I was attending a party and I heard these, I would be okay with it. It's nothing too terrible that you'd be like, I gotta leave, but it's also nothing that will be like, wow, what are those speakers? They're okay. That's all I'm gonna say is they're okay. And for $350, them being powered and everything, it's not a bad deal. It really isn't. So we're gonna take out the mounting holes for the woofer. Unfortunately, it looks like it's gonna be really hard to get to the horn, but it just looks like your typical 1-inch compression driver. I'm sure it's nothing insane or out of the ordinary. But moving over to here, we'll take the grill off of this guy. I'll show you what the Harbinger has to offer. So here you can see kind of similar characteristics to what the Mackie is offering, except you have a bigger waveguide, which you could definitely hear. That's one thing we noted, that the Mackie Thump definitely had better bass, but it almost sounded like there was barely any highs coming from it. It definitely sounded muddled and muffled, and I can't even speak, I can't think of words, but it's just it's nothing like this. This one has a lot more defined highs. It's bright, it's in your face, where, that's kind of what you expect from PA speakers. They're just meant to be loud. Where the Mackie, definitely better on bass response, like I said, but not so great on highs. The mids were kind of nice, though. This one a lot more bright, like I said. But we're gonna go ahead and remove these two woofers. Alright, so we have both of these, both woofers free, all the screws out. One thing I want to point out before I even take a look at these, the hardware difference between the two. The Mackie's bolts were a lot harder to get out and actually come with even washers that sit right with these flush with the actual plastic basket, or not plastic, plastic enclosure, where the Harbinger God, I hate that name. Just, you know, had your standard self-tapping screws, nothing great. So definitely props to Mackie for putting a little bit more money into their build quality. But both are plastic, both are polymer, composite, you know, enclosures. There's nothing other than that really sets them apart. So anyways, moving on. So let's look at the Mackie real quick. I'll take the woofer out here. Oh, great, spades. Oh my God. Every time. Oh, those actually came out half easily. All right, so if you could see, super tiny voice coil, probably 1.5, maybe 2 inch. I don't know, it's probably pushing it, saying 2 inch. No venting on the basket, nothing on the spider, standard tinsel leads, nothing woven in. As for the magnet, you actually have former vents for the voice coil as well as the main motor vent on the bottom. So that just helps with keeping everything nice and cool during operation. So that was nice to at least see them do that. But for the most part, just your standard, probably $60 to $80 15-inch woofer, nothing crazy. You honestly could probably upgrade it from Parts Express or some, you know, good company that will probably sell you something a little bit better than that to replace it. Moving on to the Harbinger. Another lovely set of spades. Oh my God, I hate spades. So, thanks to good old spade connectors, I cannot get this one off. I've tried prying and everything, and it's honestly gonna rip off where the leads connect to. But here is your Harbinger 15-inch. This is more of like your customary 15-inch. You have a big, nice big beefy magnet on the bottom with just a standard motor vent. Nothing on the basket, again, nothing on the spider, no crazy venting, no crazy woven in tinsel leads like you see on car audio. But again, it's just a treated paper cone, same as the Mackie. I mean, in a lot of ways, these two speakers are very similar, and in a lot of ways they're also not, because the Mackies are very muddled and not so bright, where the Harbinger, honestly, if I had to pick between these two, I'd probably go with the Harbinger, because the Mackie just, it doesn't sound right. It sounds like there's a lot missing from it, where this one, it sounds good, definitely doesn't have as much bass output as the Mackie, but I would definitely pick this more over the Mackie. You know, producing any kind of music for a venue, you do not want to be running a lot of bass through your top speakers. You're going to have a subwoofer or some other form of reinforcement other than just running everything through your tops. So just based off of that, I would go with the Harbinger over the Mackie Thump. In terms of amplifiers, there's nothing really too different about these. This one has a sealed amplifier unit, kind of similar to the QSCs, where this one has an exposed one, more like here, if you want to come take a look, more like that fake Eon we reviewed before. The circuit board's kind of exposed. Actually, this one looks better than the JBL Eon, the fake one. So again, I would probably go with this one over the Mackie Thump, just because Thumps are a little bit overrated, in my opinion. Thanks again for joining us. This has been a teardown, a little bit of a sound test, and a review of these two PA speakers.